Okay, hi guys, welcome back. I'm so excited to welcome Jeff here from Armstrong Collective, and he has a great brand. I personally, my husband and I just got back from a trip on Canyon Spirit, which is part of Armstrong Collective, and just how all of that works for us. I will be honest, technology is being a little shaky today, so let's give us some grace if we have some moments, but hopefully it holds out okay and everything is a little bit shaky today. All right, so Jeff, I'm going to kick it over to you because I really would love to hear the story about Armstrong Collective, and I'm sure our audience will as well, because they're probably familiar with Rocky Mountaineer. Canyon Spirit's newer, so maybe not as familiar, but you guys have a great reputation for Rocky Mountaineer. So why don't you share more about the story of Armstrong Collective?
Sure, more than happy to, Melissa, and thank you again for this opportunity to, share what I know about Armstrong Collective, Rocky Mountaineer, Canyon Spirit, and just a quick little small background about myself. I've been with the company now for 12 years, and so it's a good amount of time to the point where I can be dangerous with what I know. Joking aside, Armstrong Collective has been operating since 1990, 36 years. Initially, we've been known as Rocky Mountaineer for about 24 of those years. In 2023, we did start the new name Armstrong Collective. The owner and founder of our company, his name is Peter Armstrong, ergo the name Armstrong Collective. And the reason why we changed the name from Rocky Mountaineer to Armstrong Collective was that we started this brand new route called Canyon Spirit, the one that you and your husband experienced just recently. And I'm so happy you guys had such a great time on there. It is definitely a focus of ours where we have a lot of growth to come over the near future, and I can share a little bit more of that throughout our conversation today. But with Rocky Mountaineer, even though I would say the awareness factor is definitely much more strong than Armstrong Collective, we were looking at operating in places that don't have Rocky Mountains. And we're looking at other further places in our beautiful world we live in, like Norway is an option that we're looking at very heavily right now. New Zealand and Australia are two other places that we're definitely looking at where, the name may not fit. We'll have another name like we called Canyon Spirit. And so similar to like Procter & Gamble, where you have Procter & Gamble at the top, and underneath that you have different companies that Procter & Gamble owns. Well, Armstrong Collective is privately owned, and underneath that we have Rocky Mountaineer, which is in the Canadian Rockies, Canyon Spirit, which is in the U.S. into the Southwest National Parks, and many more to come over the future.
Oh, great. This was my first rail experience ever. And I'm going to kind of speak to this just a little bit because for those listening, if they're adverse to the idea of a train experience, that was me. I was not, it was never really on my list of things that I wanted to do. And mostly because I don't sit still very well. And the idea of sitting in a seat, or if you will, like my idea was trapped in a seat, right? Like on an airplane or something. And the idea just sounded not all that appealing. And then when I became more familiar first with Rocky Mountaineer and the idea that first, this is not a sleeper car situation. You are experiencing the beauty and the scenery during the day, and their trains make it so much better. But then at night, or whenever you do stop, it could be midday, you get to explore the area a little bit more, and then you're staying in nice accommodations in a hotel. And boy, they make it really, really easy to do all of that. That was the other piece that really made me quite happy. But so for the next thing, I wanted to talk about, because I have a lot of clients that love to go on cruises. Okay. I also have people that just, do land resort travel, things like that. What do you think is going to surprise them the most with a rail experience if they have not done that before?
There's a lot of things because we're very similar to those types of vacations. In fact, I would say the most popular guests we have on board are past ocean cruisers and river cruises. We're taking you places, we're slowing time down. Exactly what you said, you never sleep on board our trains. Because if you're sleeping, you're missing the sights, the scenery, the wildlife, the wilderness. That will end up being one of the most expensive naps of your life. We get you to places and we want you to slow time down, enjoy where you are. And we can include everything that these cruises and river cruises and all-inclusives also include, like excursions. We handle touring and sightseeing. We handle the transfers. We handle the hotel accommodations, where you can work between 3-star properties and 5-star properties to work with your own budget. Do what makes sense. Spend 1 night here, spend 2 nights here, 3 nights here, customize, add nights, take away nights, add tours, take away tours. You can really work a lot to make it a true unique experience, delivering exactly what you want to do and how you want to do it with the budget that works best for you. Circling back to your initial question, what's surprising? I think how we handle luggage is extremely surprising, where it's seamless. We don't want you to burn any calories. We'll take your luggage from you before you board the train. It's actually taken on a truck or a motor coach. And the next time you'll see it will be in your hotel room. Before you even get off the train, we give you your hotel room key. You've already been checked in. Hop off, head over to your hotel and find your room. Inside your room, your luggage is waiting for you next to your bed. And then in order to minimize the calories you're burning, we ask you to leave your luggage exactly how you found it, next to your bed, not outside the room, not in the lobby. And you'll see the next hotel, a true seamless experience from beginning to end, which is quite ideal. I think another surprise that people are really blown away with is the food that we prepare on board. We actually, on Gold Leaf, which is in our Canadian Rockies, delivers true fine dining. 2 to 3 appetizer options, 5 to 6 entree options, a food cooked, made to order a few feet away from where you're sitting. You're not eating at your seat. You have a full dining area. You have outdoor veranda spaces on all these train cars. And we're not going super fast. The average train speed is only 30 miles an hour. We slow down to less than 5 miles an hour for the bridges, the waterfalls, the wildlife, the wilderness, all would make it very unique and different from that. If you are common with train travel, maybe Amtrak or Via Rail, or even the commuter trains out in Europe, we're very different from those trains. When we're going a very slow speed and slow down to a crawling speed, or we call it Kodak speed, it's allowing you to take video and pictures along your whole entire way and soak in the sights that are passing by at such a slow speed. You can see I can go on, but there's just so much that make us quite unique and different.
Yeah, you hit on a couple things that I mean, I will say in all honesty, really stood out to me. Luggage was the top thing that I noticed. I was so impressed by that. And I do hear from my clients that do other rail experiences that they were required to, handle their own luggage when they get off the train and stop. And that was a pretty big inconvenience to some of them based on where they were. If it's like a lot of steps or rocky or something like that, it's hard for them to manage their luggage. So for me, I even asked, I was like, okay, so you're really going to leave it in my hotel room. I didn't misunderstand that, right? I don't need to go get it somewhere. And it just appeared. And then it's like I got on the train and it managed to make it to the next stop. So I was blown away by that. I also, because I'm a very efficient person and I like to maximize my time in any place, I loved that I already had my room key. I loved that I didn't have to go through a check-in process. I could just run by my room real quick if I wanted to change clothes because we were going to go off and do something different. It was, in fact, one of the times we were doing the hot springs, and I was concerned because we got in, we didn't get in late, but that's when we were supposed to get in. And I wanted to go straight to dinner and straight to the hot springs and have time to get it all in. And I was afraid our luggage wouldn't be in the room yet. And we got there, it was already in. I could easily change into my swimsuit, go to dinner, and then run over to the hot springs. So I agree. You do a very good job of making it seamless. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted you on the show, because I think our clients would really love what you guys offer.
Well, thank you. I love being here and sharing exactly what you experience because it's so different, so unique. And I'm so happy you got a chance to experience this because that's the best way to talk about anything is to experience it. So
absolutely.
Let's continue. I'm sure you have other questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I think I know I wanted to talk about, like, for those that transition from cruise to doing rail, and we did touch on that. But one thing I wanted to just see if you mind touching on lightly is I know that this is also an option for people that do cruises, but maybe they want to add this on as a pre or post, correct? Like they could do this.
Very popular option. Yes, up for Alaska. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to keep people thinking because sometimes, it's great to maximize when you're already flying somewhere and you can add on a different experience because flying can be very expensive. So if you can maximize these experiences and do it pre or post a cruise, that's something we can easily help you with as well.
Definitely. May I
Okay.
add just 2 sentences to that, if that's possible, or 2 points,
Sure.
real quick?
Yeah.
One, about 45 to 50% of the guests on board our trains have a pre or post cruise tour attachment. So we're talking
Okay.
almost the majority of those who
Okay.
travel with us connected with the cruise. And for those who like luxury, especially like the Regent, Oceana, Silversea, Seabourn, Crystal, and you can go with the Haven and the other, the suites and the villas of the,
Sure.
all the different, the Celebrity, the Princess, all the cruise lines that they have. We fit that niche extremely well. Where like in Alaska, the nicest hotel is really an Alyeska. It's a 4-star property. We work with true 5-star resorts, the Fairmonts, Rimrock, Four Seasons, Sutton Place, and I can go on. So it can be a true, I would say, fantastic, seamless transition between your luxury experience on board ships and either pre or before or after your cruise. A connection. I recommend after. When you go eastbound, starting in Vancouver, heading east, the hills become mountains. The mountains become glaciers. The wildlife gets so much more amazing. The best is yet to come. The Canadian Rockies. And then you just fly out of Calgary. And you're already, if you're anywhere in the Midwest of the country or East Coast, you're already traveling eastbound. So you're saving flight time. So.
Okay, great. No, that's really great. So for someone that's new, what itinerary would you think they should look at? What would excite them?
So are we talking both either or, Canyon Spear or Rocky Mountaineer? What would you?
How about both? Do you have a
Okay,
recommendation for
of
both?
course. So for first Rocky Mountaineer, just because that's in my mind right now, I recommend eastbound. I would say if you've never been up there, you want to do Jasper, Lake Louise, and Banff. A must is Lake Louise and Banff. And you want to do a minimum of 2 nights in each of these places so you have a full day of leisure to experience what you want. Or if you're extremely active, you can do add-on tours. You can do whitewater rafting, helicopter tours, hiking, lots of unique experiences. But I recommend just a day of leisure and enjoy where you are. Eat really yummy, drink if you like. Don't go for some nature walks. Do some specialty shopping in places that are unlike back home. And I think that's really ideal. So it would either be the most popular route, the First Passage to the West, Discovery, which includes Lake Louise and Banff, or if you want to go all out and see Jasper, which is a beautiful place. It's got beautiful lakes and waterfalls all around this region. It's nestled in the heart of the Rockies. You also get to experience the Columbia Icefield Parkway, been voted one of the most scenic highways in the world, riddled with lakes, waterfalls, canyons, glaciers. So if you want to do it all, check mark to seeing it all and do it all, I would recommend the Journey Through the Clouds Grand Adventure. That's the must-have. You're talking around 9 nights, 10 days, but you're going to do 2 nights Jasper, 2 nights Lake Louise, 2 nights Banff, fly in on Vancouver, fly out of Calgary, Gold Leaf on the train, Journey Through the Clouds Grand Adventure. That is the ultimate where you're seeing and doing it all. Switching over to Canyon Spirit, we have some new touring and sightseeing that just started this year. Next year, we're going to have not just 1 train, but 2 trains operating on the Canyon Spirit route, which goes between Salt Lake City and Denver, with stops in Moab, Utah, home to Arches, Canyonlands, as well as stops in Glenwood Springs, something you already spoke about, going to the hot springs. So for next year, what I would highly recommend is you could do the simple train time between Salt Lake and Denver. But since we have 2 trains, you can do 2 nights in Moab and slow time down, enjoy where you are, jump on the second train that comes by, and continue on. Or you could do 2 nights in Glenwood Springs. If you've already done Moab before and you want to do something different, Glenwood Springs is pretty unique. It's nestled in the heart of this beautiful canyon. You have a theme park on one side of the mountain. At the top, you can go to experience, take a look at. There's hot springs all around to get dips in different hot spring pools that are local to Glenwood Springs, and it's a beautiful town right next to the train station. But I would personally go Moab 2 nights and do some really unique touring and sightseeing into these beautiful national parks that are in our backyard. And but that's one option. The other one would be more unique, going into the Grand Tetons, Yellowstone. We have brand new tours and sightseeing taking you up there. We hope for the future of Canyon Spirit by 2028 to have a new route heading north between Salt Lake and going all the way through Montana, through Idaho and Montana, which is breathtakingly beautiful. So you're not only going to have multiple push tours around this area, but our train will be right next door, and it's going to go to Sawyer Glacier National Park, be right next to Yellowstone, Grand Tetons. By 2030, we want to connect our trains to go from Vancouver to Denver and be on one exact company the entire time. So that's our goal for the next 4 years. I can't count. So
yeah, that sounds incredible. I know a lot of people would love that with Montana. I mean, it's such a highly desired place to see. So I think that would be amazing.
That's
So
our
you
focus and
talked,
goal.
yeah. I know the scenery. I mean, and one of the things that we talk, my husband and I talk to our clients about when we did this particular trip is you're just seeing scenery you just can't see any other way. So that's one of the reasons why someone would want to look at a trip like this.
Mhm.
You're not going to see this scenery on a cruise. You need to see it this way. And it is, I mean, just so much more beautiful than you ever could prepare yourself. But I know you've mentioned excursions or land tours, but talk to me a little bit about what it's like to experience the trip when they do get to the land portion, when they are dropped off that day.
Sure thing. So, when you talk about doing a transfer between point A and point B, let's say, for example, Jasper to Lake Louise, it's not just a transfer, it's a full guided, private guided tour. And so we're going to do multiple stops throughout the whole day. It'll be about 6 hours or so, but that includes lunch. You can do the ice explorer, the glacial skywalk, and you'll be stopping every 10 to 15 minutes as you head between point A and point B. If you go between Lake Louise and Banff, not a transfer. It's only an hour away, but we're going to give you a 4 to 5 hour tour where you're going to 4 different viewing points from Emerald Lake, Natural Rock Bridge, some waterfalls. And I don't name them all, but even between Banff and Calgary, you've got the gondola take you to the top of Sulphur Mountain. You have the Hoodoo Surprise Corner, and I can go on, but there's lake tours and everything else. So it's not like I would say like your simple A to B and B to C type of transfer. We try to include everything so you're able to experience not only what the town has to offer or where you're just located for the couple nights, but outside of that area. So you're able to say, I've seen and done everything that's around this beautiful area that I just went to visit, which is really ideal. And when it comes to, if there was a river connecting Jasper, Lake Louise, and Banff, I guarantee you there'd be river cruises up there because these places are so beautiful. There isn't, but there's train tracks. And that's where we're able to take you to places like you just said, the cruises and river cruises aren't able to take you to. And when it comes to touring and sightseeing, we have so many tours that are built into the package, but also you can be added on. Like I was saying before, where you can have a private guided experience with your own private driver, taking you for all different places, and you have that driver for the entire day. You can also do from how active you are, from whitewater rafting to a guided motor coach tour where you sit back and you go around certain areas. I mean, there's so many options to choose from and be customizable with that. And we've been doing this once again for 36 years. So we vetted the tour operators and partners that we utilize so they maintain the excellence of service that we promise your guests are going to receive from beginning to end. But it's definitely quite unique, and it's very similar to like a cruise or a river cruise where we're taking you different places, and there's food included on the way. Everything on the train is all inclusive. Outside of the train, most times you're on your own with food, but we can make sure that your luggage is handled for you between all the different areas. We can handle the touring, the sightseeing, and that's pretty much all of it. The only things we don't handle, just to be honest with everyone, is airfare and trip insurance. Those two things we really don't touch. But other than that, we can make sure everything is somewhat even all-inclusive to a certain degree.
Great. Yeah, and guys, I know I mentioned earlier that I don't like to sit still, but I didn't really speak to the fact that I didn't have to. So I also wrote a blog post after our experience, and in that blog post, I have clips of the lounge car, which was just beautifully done. I mean, it's just very, very impressive. And then in there, they're going to have snacks throughout the day, drinks, bar service, and then of course, as he mentioned, lunch. We had breakfast and lunch, I believe, every day that we were on there. So it is, you can get up and kind of make it your own experience. Some people want to just sit in their seats and play cards with the person that they travel with, totally fine. Some people kind of gathered in the area to talk, and then the lounge was hopping as soon as they told us we could go in there. Everyone was in there, and it was great. We were able. It's kind of like a cruise ship. That's how it felt to me at that point. Is you gather at a lounge or a bar on the cruise ship. That's kind of what we did there.
There you go.
They had honey tasting, bourbon tasting. So it was a really great experience, and I never felt like Oh my gosh, I was on here 6 hours. I was like, oh man, we have to get off. Like that's how much we enjoyed it.
And
So,
the experience that Melissa is sharing with you all is Canyon Spirit. We actually don't have
correct.
cars on Rocky Mountaineer. Instead, we have cars called Gold Leaf and Silverleaf. Silverleaf is the exact same as our signature car, which you have on Canyon Spirit, single-story car, panoramic views, arch window at the top. And then Gold Leaf is our two-story bi-level coach dome, where instead of eating at your seat, like you do on signature or Silverleaf, you have a full dining area below. So two different types of, once again, itineraries, routes, areas, because it's polar opposite. You're talking glaciers to desert.
Sure.
And then
Yes.
two different trains, if you will, where it's the same train. The parallel is the service on board. The food is different. The food for Rocky Mountaineer is British Columbia, Alberta cuisine. The food for the Canyon Spirit is Southwestern cuisine. So food, drinks will be different depending on the location. The service that we offer on board, the storytelling, we have incredible hosts that have been trained and been with us for many, many seasons, to the point where we can then focus on customer service as opposed to doing your job. And they are incredible what they do. And the service scores they get on a scale of 0 to 10, average between 9.5 and 10 every single trip. So it's really high when it comes to the guest services. But just to clarify, no lounge cars on Rocky Mountain, only on the US. And it is that type of cruise experience. You're going to another area, you're getting entertained with the bourbon, the whiskey tastings, the honey, the cheese, crackers, all that's throughout the whole entire days. It's just that little bit of extra space that I think people, they want, because then you're not in your chair, you're not sitting, you're moving around and everything. Same thing for Gold Leaf. You have an outdoor veranda space on Gold Leaf that holds around 20 people comfortably. So you go outside and move around out there. There's a little lounge area. You're never sitting alone. You're going up and down the steps to go have your food. Or if you have any mobility concerns, we have a lift. They'll take you from the one floor to this other floor and on from the ground to the train car. So we can handle anything that you take, pretty much throw at us. Even food allergies, dietary restrictions, let us know what you have on those mobility concerns. We'll be able to handle all those requests very easily and seamlessly.
Yes, and I can actually speak to that too, because my husband and I are both gluten-free. And so we made sure we let them know in advance, because I also thought, it's a train. They can't just magically have something on the train to accommodate me. So I did make sure I told them in advance, and they were always able to accommodate every single meal. So I can definitely speak to that. But
Awesome.
okay, and thank you for clarifying the difference. I was speaking about my personal experience on Canyon Spirit, which is different. So I'm glad you clarified that for the audience. So Jeff, group travel is very popular, and I'd love to hear if that's something that you guys can accommodate, and if so, what types of groups you typically see.
Yeah, it's definitely 100%. We can handle groups. The big benefit of going with a group is that most times the people who you're going with, which makes the travel that much more exciting and memorable. You can share those types of stories for lifetime with those who traveled with you. So I would say it makes up a very large percentage of the total sales we have every single season. A group with us averaging is around the minimum of 16 people. What we average see is around 20 to 24 guests per group. But with a group, you are doing everything together. You're sitting together on the train, you're doing the same tours, the same transfers, same hotels. Also with the group, you're able to add on meals. So it can be truly all inclusive, where you have the breakfasts where you're not on the train, you have breakfasts included, lunches and dinners can all be added on. So that's definitely a big benefit for sure. Mm-hmm. You also can do private guided tours. So it would only be your group. It does have to reach a certain limit, which I believe is 20 people. So if you hit that number of magic 20 people in a group, then you can have all your transfers and tours be private, which makes it really nice, enjoyable. You're not with other people, you're not waiting for others. You're not on a big motor coach. It's just for you and your group alone, which makes you feel very special. So those are really some big, nice little extras. And that doesn't, the whole motor coach for yourself or sprinter van, whatever we use, that doesn't cost any additional. It's literally like a break-even point. But bring 20 people and everything becomes private, which is a fantastic incentive for anyone who does a group with us. And then groups can go to the size of, I would say comfortably, we have around 36 to 40, around sizes. If you go larger than 50 people, then we have to talk about doing a charter buyout, because you're looking at taking over the entire train car. And that's a whole different story. We're not going to get into that. But if you'd like to take over a charter buyout, talk to Melissa, and we will take that offline, and we'll be happy to handle that. So it's possible as well.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, for those that maybe are doing maybe more of a leadership style trip or something more
Mm.
corporate,
I'm
is
sorry
there
to
an
bring it up. I
option?
know.
No, but is there an option to like when they stop to potentially use meeting space at the hotel or something if they needed to gather for a meeting?
100%, yes. In fact, we many of our groups for further education or for getting more licenses or certificates, a lot of professionals utilize these trips, and they utilize the hotels that we're staying at every evening, where they can use an easy meeting room or set up somewhere, or even just be able to do things very easily in the lobby and stuff like that, where we're talking and bouncing ideas back from one another, meetings and so forth. But that's very popular, and they would definitely use the hotels for those different events. And then a lot of times we spend 2 or 3 nights in places, and that gives you full days of meetings to take place if you like. So very popular idea, I would say.
Great. Great. Well, we definitely have clients that look for that purpose, so that's good to know.
Yes.
So Jeff, is there anything else that you really want our audience to know about you guys?
I mean, I shared with you the growth, which is pretty exciting, the future. I would say, if you're looking for something close to home, something unique and different, please definitely connect with Melissa. She can share with you not only her personal experiences and everything, but share with you what we have to offer in the Canadian Rockies. And I hope one day, Melissa, you get to go up there very soon and experience that. Perhaps even take a group with you, so you can escort them and get to know it firsthand, because it's an incredible place up there in the beautiful Canadian Rockies. Place like Banff, Lake Louise, Jasper. If you haven't been, I highly encourage you to do so, and know that if you stump her, I'm in her back pocket to be utilized. If we want to get to the weeds of details, like which restaurants to go to, which hotels should I stay at, how should I do this, I've done it quite a bit for many, many, many years, and I'm more than happy to share my expertise with Melissa, so you're able to be set from beginning to end and know that you're going on a trip of a lifetime close to home. And we're going to continue to grow and develop and be here for many years to come, and hopefully start developing in other places throughout this beautiful world we live in different continents. So a lot of growth over the future. But other than that, we do have promos occasionally. There is a current promo that did just start for 2027. So if you are interested, definitely make sure you reach out to Melissa to share those, get those details. And other than that, thank you so much for your time. And one more thing, actually. There are great 1 to 2 minute videos on what it's like on board our train, where we're taking you, the different routes. So you can easily go to Melissa. She can share those video links with you, or you can just go to YouTube, type in Rocky Mountaineer Canyon Spirit, and see these videos for yourself. But 1 to 2 minute videos on everything. And so that way you can get not only a good idea of what I'm sharing with you, but watch it for yourself and see in a 1 to 2 minutes of time frame what it's like. So hope that helps.
Yeah, and in fact, I intend to share a couple of those links in the show notes, so I'll make it easy for you guys to track them down. I really I wanted to point this one thing out. I was talking to my husband this morning. I told him I saw Jeff speaking at a conference a little over a year ago, and he was so passionate about his brand, and so I knew that I wanted to experience it myself and then invite him on, because I knew that he was very knowledgeable, but you can just tell how much he loves it. And that's great. Now, I also think he was being rather strategic with his background today, because I just keep looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I want to go there. It's so beautiful. And it looks cooler than where I'm at right now, which is in Houston, where it's very hot. Nice. I didn't see the train. Okay, there's Rocky Mountain. Perfect.
Yeah, my whole body's
I just saw the beautiful. All right. Well, Jeff, thank you again. This was really great. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to helping others experience this too. And maybe we will take you up on that and do a group too. I think that would be great. So thank you again. And guys, I will get all of this posted for you guys. And make sure, again, that you're following, liking the show, so that you're being updated when the next one is going live, which will be, I think, now in 2 weeks. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.